in the air, and with the weather being like it is today, who knows what'll happen.
You got your eyes on that wind that's coming out of the south and blowing toward left field.
Oh, yeah, I love seeing the wind blowing out here.
And tasked with trying to slow down the Patriots, making his first career start tonight, is Reed Hensley. So what's important for this senior from Lufkin, Texas, Kendall?
Yeah, no, Reed is a good player. He obviously, like you said, he's a senior, so he's been around the block a couple times, and I think he does a good job of obviously executing pitches, throwing lots of strikes, and so I think as long as he's in the zone, he'll be all right.
First pitch is over the outer half as we are underway on this Tuesday night midweek action. These two teams have gotten to know each other so well over the years. DBU's won 3 straight in the series, including that meeting that we talked about down at Horner Ballpark. The wind was blowing more heavily that night than it is tonight.
Yeah, though it was definitely blowing out to right center that night, and so there was a lot of home runs hit that night. But obviously the wind is blowing out here at Oklahoma too, so we'll see how that goes.
And there's a strikeout from Reed Hensley to start things. He's been excellent. He's 3-0 this year, an ERA of 1.65. That's his 18th strikeout against only 7 walks. And Reed Hensley actually has a couple of midweek wins out of the bullpen. He went 5 innings in a win against Oral Roberts this year.
Yeah, really good job by Reed, and he's obviously off to a good start right now with getting that strikeout early in this game. But he's been good for a long time now here at Oklahoma, and he does just a really good job of competing up there.
Here is Grant Jay. First pitch strike from Reed Hensley. Grant Jay, just a very humble kind of a leader. Dan Hefner talks about it's not about him or his home runs. A team guy, freshman All-American back in 2023. And if you watch college baseball and participate in it, you know, it seems like Grant Jay's been around a long time. He's only in the middle of his junior year, Ken.
Yeah, I was gonna say even when I was playing, I remember the name Grant Jay, and I remember him probably hitting a home run or 2 against us. And so he's definitely been a really good player in his career.
And he broke that DBU home runs record in a 3-homer game. He didn't just break it. I mean, that's smashing it. That's blowing it out of the water.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds kind of like Shohei Ohtani's game when he hit like 3 or 4 home runs to tie it and make it a 50-50. So really good job by Grant. And he does a good job of putting the ball in the air like he just did there for the out.
And Sam Christensen over from right field. You played a lot of outfield in this stadium. Right field this time of the day is no picnic with that sun, is it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, look, I was blessed enough to have to play left field instead of right field for most of my time here, but definitely in right field, that sun right now is brutal. You definitely have to use that sun to block it off because the glasses don't really make a difference right now.
They just look cool.
They just look cool.
Yeah.
But the glasses, they're just adding another extra glare to it, so it doesn't make much help at all.
So you're telling me they're more of a problem than they're worth this time of the day?
It just depends. Like I said, it depends for sure, because I love wearing them, and they block off the sun for me pretty well.
There's Nathan Humphries fouling this pitch back. 1-1 the count to the Patriots center fielder. Nathan Humphries hit a grand slam against Oklahoma last February. 6 home runs a season ago. He's already got 9 this year. Back up the middle, just under the glove of Reed Hensley, and it'll scoot into center. A 2-out single for the center fielder, Nathan Humphries.
Yeah, Chad, I think if you're just looking at numbers, I think with Humphries, man, after only having 6 home runs last season and already having 9 this season, I think as a senior, that's probably something he wanted to work on a little bit and definitely try to get his name out there and then produce some power numbers. So good job by him so far this season.
Here is Chayton Krause, RBI leader for the Patriots. 42 of them. That leads Conference USA as well. He whacks the first pitch, foul and out of play. Senior from Coppell, Texas, went to Grayson County Community College. He's a great story. Sometimes it's about your journey. Born in New Zealand, played in the Little League World Series for a Pennsylvania team when he came to the United States, and he's played for New Zealand in the World Baseball Classic. Well-traveled.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a pretty cool story right there. He's been all over the place.
And you thought coming from Chicago to Norman was a long trip. Pulls this one foul up third base way. Chayton Krause First team All-Conference USA last year when he clubbed 16 home runs, batted .358, and he hit 2 home runs in the first meeting between these teams back on March the 4th.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, those 16 home runs. I mean, I don't even think I had 16 home runs here in my 5 years here. So
I'm going to say yes and not check. I'm going to do, I won't even look.
Well, I
say,
appreciate
yeah,
that. I appreciate that. But I bet you that was probably such a cool experience being able to go to the Little League World Series, man. I think just growing up, that was one of my biggest dreams.
Lifts this one into right center field. Jason Walk kind of gently going back, and that ball carried a little bit all the way to the warning track. Inning over. A 2-out single by Humphreys, but nothing across for the Patriots. We'll give you the Oklahoma batting lineup when we return. Right-hander Jared Jenkins toeing the rubber here tonight. Expect that both pitching staffs will get pretty deep into their lineup tonight, but it's Jenkins to start things, junior from Winchester, Virginia, and he's been very good. In fact, preseason Conference USA Pitcher of the Year, due in part because he was on the Conference USA All-Tournament team last year, and he actually was the winning pitcher when these two teams met in March of last year, March 19th of last year. He picked up the win in one of the meetings between these teams last year. But you see the ERA is a little bit up. He'd like to get that down tonight. What does DBU need out of Jared Jenkins tonight, Kendall?
Yeah, no, I think he's just going to have to keep the ball in the lower part of the zone today. Like I said, like we said before, you know, with the wind kind of howling out to center today, there's going to be a lot of guys trying to hit the ball up in the air, trying to get that wind-blown home run out of here and things like that. And so I think what he needs to do is just keep a good job of keeping the guys off balance and making sure the ball is staying low in the zone.
Jason Walk will lead things off for the Sooners. Trey Gamble is in the lineup for the Sooners tonight and back out in the outfield. So he's feeling better. Been battling a kind of a cranky leg injury that's been a little slow to heal completely. You see Walk and Gamble, Easton Carmichael, Willits, Christensen, and making the start tonight, DHing is Braden Horton. It's only his 3rd start of the season and got a couple of pinch hitting appearances against LSU over the weekend, but Braden Horton down there in the number 8 spot. We'll see who provides a spark. Maybe it's going to be Jason Walk tonight, Kendall.
Yeah, I'm really hoping for it to be Jason Walk, but definitely using his speed to kind of incorporate some chaos out there, and definitely may put a bunt down here, see what happens.
Does show bunt. And Michael DiTallo comes lunging in down at third base. That is the dilemma of defending Jason Walk.
No, yeah, he's a man of many secrets, I guess you could say.
But as Skip Johnson will point out, his game is still running, hitting balls into the gap, and putting pressure on opposing defense. Now a shift put on here as DiTallo, the third baseman, goes over to the first base side of the infield with 2 strikes on the hitter. Do shifts really work, Kendall?
I think it's more of a mental thing than anything, to be honest. You know, you see those guys all kind of huddled up over there by the other side of the second base, but you're just like, you see this, you know, huge gap over here by third base, and you're kind of like, you know, like, oh, what if I kind of just push it over there, if I just punch it over there? But in reality, you just got to take your same swing. Don't really worry about that. They're really just kind of showing you that just so you can see it.
And Walk hits a foul ball out of play over the third base side. Jason Walk, a week ago tonight, had 3 hits in Oklahoma's win over Texas Tech, and he takes a called strike 3. That's a nasty looking breaking pitch that time, and that's kind of the MO for Jared Jenkins. That's his bread and butter. If that curveball looks like an old traditional curveball, not that hard slider.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think he threw it earlier in that AB, and it kind of looked like J-Walk was kind of letting the guys know, like, oh, this was a curveball, and it was one that was kind of up and out, but that one he landed perfectly right down the middle. So really good pitch right there and good execution.
Here's Trey Gamble with 1 away. Trey Gamble is a junior from Utah. As we said, he had a little bit of a leg tweak in Oklahoma's series against South Carolina, missed a couple of games, and has been DHing quite a bit when he's been in the lineup, but healthy enough to go run out in the outfield tonight. He's that guy, as Skip Johnson has talked about. It's like a good offensive lineman where unless he's out of the lineup, you maybe don't notice everything. And Oklahoma being without him for a few games certainly noticed his absence.
Yeah, no, he's a really good player, if not one of our better hitters of this year as well. And so it is one of those things, like, he seems like he just does everything really well. Like, he can bunt the ball, he can hit, he can run, he can defend. He does just everything well. And so you can see how that plays a part.
Third in the SEC in on-base percentage, .523 on-base average for Trey Gamble.
Gets on base.
He gets on base. Where have I heard that before? There is strike three. So back-to-back strikeouts for Jared Jenkins to start things.
Yeah, both pitchers are looking pretty good early.
Just a fastball on the outer half there. But you start worrying about that curveball, right? And then he'll hit you with that.
Yeah, no, I think you have to always understand that you have to stay fastball timing and kind of react to that curveball. Even though it is a good one, I think understanding that you have to stay on that fastball and get ready to hit the fastball.
Easton Carmichael takes the first pitch inside. Good zip, 93 on the fastball from Jenkins.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's not like it's something in the high 80s or low 90s. I mean, 93 is getting up on you a little bit, so you definitely have to be ready for that fastball.
Carmichael leads the Sooners with 30 runs driven in. Pulled to the shortstop. Raybeck. Accurate throw, and 1-2-3 go the Sooners in the first. No score. Headed to inning number 2 between the Sooners and the Patriots on SEC Network Plus. Beautiful night at L. Mitchell Park here in Norman. They're honoring the conference champion Oklahoma men's gymnastics team on the dugout right above the baseball team over on the third base side. Series history between these two teams. DBU's won 3 straight, 5 out of the last 6. We talked about the 11-0 win that they had in 7 innings down at Horner Ballpark back on March the 4th. And Kendall, maybe it's not Oklahoma versus Texas as Grady rolls this one to the second baseman Branch for the first out. It might not be Bedlam, but it's a fun rivalry. I know you played in it many times over the years.
Yeah, I was going to say, out of those 5 out of the last 6, I'm pretty sure I played in 5 of them. And so just kind of understanding how DBU plays and knowing really the history between the two teams, it's always a fun time. You know, they're a rowdy team. We're a rowdy team. And so, you know, they're not far down the street from us, only about 2.5 hours or so. So it's been always a good time. You know, you know, just going into the games, you're just like, man, like, can we get them one time? You know what I mean? And so, but they're always a good program. They have a good coach over there, and it's really fun playing them.
Joey Narrett in, and quickly in a hole, 0-2 against Reed Hensley. And you have so many players who might have played high school together or junior college or travel ball against or with each other from the state of Texas. The heart of the recruiting basis for both these programs.
No, yeah, Texas is one where many of my old teammates have been from, and so it's a big state. You know, it's a place that I wasn't really known. I didn't really know much about Texas. You know, I'm being from Chicago. You know, I didn't really go down to Texas at all, but you know, just understanding how people from Texas are, and it's a lot of good baseball down there.
Yeah, you know about it now, right?
Yeah, I do.
That is strikeout number 2 for Reed Hensley. What do you see from Reed Hensley so far?
Yeah, no, he's been looking really good, been very sharp, off to a good start. He just kind of seems like he's getting that fastball over early in the zone, getting that strike one and that first pitch, and like that's all you really need to do as a pitcher. You know, get ahead early in the count so you can get the batter to, you know, make some mistakes later in that AB.
Here is Michael Tatalo, last year's newcomer of the year in Conference USA. Out of Keller, Texas. Began his collegiate career at Northwestern State in Natchitoches, Louisiana. And was a freshman All-American there. Then transferred to the Metroplex and had a good year. Two O's a little bit up and in. See Tatalo's numbers not quite what he had last year as he takes ball 4. Second base runner for the Patriots. as Hensley gives up the 2-out walk to Detallo.
Not necessarily a sophomore slump, I guess you could say. Those numbers are looking pretty good. Do you believe in the sophomore slump?
No. Doesn't exist. Did you have one?
No, I don't think so.
Nah.
I don't think so. I know a few guys that do believe in it, though. So,
you know, the theory is teams kind of get a book on you, and things are a little different. Maybe you feel like I got this.
Yep.
I've been through it one time, but now I don't. And guys, you know, it's hard to tell what classification guys are anymore. Are you a sophomore? Have you been a junior college player? It's just different.
Yeah, it is. It's really different. You know, you got guys still in the in college ball that were here during COVID time, and so it's one of those weird dynamics right now. But obviously, with life starting to get a little bit back to a little bit of normalness, I think that we'll definitely start seeing just regular four-year guys.
And then you got the transfer portal.
Portal.
Cody Graybeck with a 2-out opportunity here. We'll see how long Reed Hensley goes for Oklahoma tonight. Just expect to see numerous arms both ways. And there's strike 3 called. So bouncing right back with a strikeout is Hensley. That's his 3rd strikeout, including 2 in the 2nd inning. No score as we head to the bottom of the 2nd inning, and Reed Hensley pretty sharp for Oklahoma. 2 scoreless innings to start this game. Sun's starting to set off to the west at L. Mitchell Park in Norman. In the middle third of the Oklahoma lineup coming to the plate here. Jackson Willett, Sam Christensen, and Kyle Branch. Jared Jenkins got the side in order with 2 strikeouts in the first. Bunted toward Detallo. Nice play.
Yeah, just a really good play right there. I like what Jackson was trying to do there, trying to get a bunt down, put a really good bunt down, but just seems like Detallo came in on that ball to third base and made a really good play over there, made a really good throw.
So 4 up and 4 down so far for Jared Jenkins, and he'll face Sam Christensen here.
I am enjoying the weather though today.
Oh, no question.
But we're in that kind of segment right now in Oklahoma where it's really cold in the morning, so you got to wear like a hoodie or something. But then it's like 70 at 11, 12 o'clock, so now you're wearing a short sleeve, and then later tonight it'll drop back down to the 40s and 50s. So it's like you always got to kind of keep a jacket on you, but you can also, do you wear shorts? Do you wear a long sleeve? Like, it's just one of those weird moments right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of wardrobe choices. I don't know if I like that.
Me neither.
I prefer to keep it simple.
Same.
This one is lined foul by Sam Christensen. 1-2 the count to the Sooner right fielder tonight. What's the temperature today in your hometown of Chicago?
You know, what's funny is I was on the phone with my mother earlier today, and she was talking to me about, I was like, oh, yeah, the weather's nice here. It's mid-70s. How's the weather there? She said it's cold. She was like, it's cold. She said it's...
You should have known better than to ask.
Yeah. I know she's probably upset that she's dealing with that cold, but it should be coming around soon.
That one swung on and missed. Kind of disputing was it fouled off and then dropped by the catcher, Burkle. But Sam Christensen knew he didn't foul tip that one, didn't he?
Yeah, he kind of just seemed like he walked off there. Just looks like it went under his barrel a little bit. Really good pitch right there.
Their Sooner head coach, Skip Johnson, said of the weekend series with LSU, just a hit here, a pitch there. The Saturday game got away from Oklahoma just a little bit, but they were right there against a top 10 team. And that's life in the SEC. And he said, when it comes to the guys, I haven't lost confidence in them. We're going to find out. It's up to them. Have they lost confidence?
No, yeah. I know they've, gone on a little stint right now, but they'll be all right. I think it's one of those things, like we said earlier, it's baseball. There's going to be highs and lows. Some people are going to be hot. Some people are going to cool down. But as long as your team morale is still there, then I think you'll be fine.
I think people sometimes want to hear fire and venom and this, oh, it's terrible, and that's just not Skip Johnson.
No, not at all. And he's always been one of those guys where I just never see him really get too high or too low. He's always, whether we're up 10 or down 10, like he's gonna stay right on that line. And so he does a really good job of keeping us in order and keeping us intact as well.
As they say, a ball club can take on the personality of its head coach. A 1-2, this pulled foul by Kyle Branch.
And, obviously he has this few moments where he can be a little goofy or a little funny and things like that. But you need somebody like that, and you need somebody and he can also get you fired up too and be a little fire and be a little, fierce. And so you need somebody. As a head coach, I think that's what you need.
Hit hard into left center field here by Branch, racing toward it. Humphreys dives and can't get there. Branch has his eyes on third, and he will make it there standing with a 2-out triple. The first base runner of the night for Oklahoma is the second baseman, Kyle Branch.
Yeah, and I really love that swing right there by Kyle. He just did a good job of staying on that ball, driving that ball to the left center. And really good try out there by the center fielder. I mean, that was an awesome try. He definitely gave it his all, but just came up just short. And so really good job right there by Kyle to be able to extend that and even get a triple out of it.
So Oklahoma with a run-scoring chance with the first baseman Dayton Taki at the plate. And the Patriots are going to shift straight away against the Sooner left-handed batter. They have been shifting with 2 strikes on the hitter, but here at the beginning of the at-bat, they shift on Taki.
Yeah, it's interesting. I get it, and it's with 2 strikes, but you could drive a freaking brink truck past that. And so it's just one of those things where obviously in the stats, it shows that he pulls the ball a lot. So
0-1 pitch, a little bit outside. It's all about the data these days.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I feel that it's way above my pay grade to figure these things out. But I love asking you ball players questions.
Yeah, for sure.
Taki does try to go to the left side, picked up. DeTalo, the throw is a little bit low, but it is scooped up, gathered, and DeTalo is able to make a good, strong throw over there to Kraus, inning over. 2-out triple is left stranded by the Sooners, and we'll go to the third, scoreless in Norman. With 55 home runs on the year, that ranks 14th in Division I and a slugging percentage of .539. I think the big thing is their run production there, Kendall. Nearly 9 runs per game, which leads Conference USA.
Yeah, I was going to say, honestly, offensively, they've always been really good. Since I've played at OU and seen them play, it just seems like they just hit home runs. Like, it doesn't matter what ballpark it is, and clearly their stats show it as well, as they have 6 out of their 9 guys starting this game today are batting over 300, and then 8 of the 9 are in 290 and above. And so that's really impressive numbers right here by this DBU team.
Adam Burkholt, the junior catcher. Reed Hensley deals him a fastball on the inner half for a strike. He held up as they appeal down to David Bailey, the first base umpire, who agrees there was no swing there. 3 homers, 11 runs driven in for Burkholt. The Patriots have also used Jake Bennett at catcher. There is strike 3. Hensley's looking sharp. A lot of strikes from the Oklahoma right-hander.
Yeah, I was going to say, he just looks really good. Just going in there and pounding strikes, changing it up a little bit, switching it up, giving that curveball in there, that slider in there as well. And, that fastball has a little zip on it as well. So really good job by Reed mixing these guys up the first round through the lineup.
That is 4 strikeouts. And as Kendall said, it's back to the top of the order for Tom Poole, who struck out looking his first time.
Yeah, this next time up through the lineup, I bet you Reed will probably try to switch some things up, maybe throw a couple more off speeds in there, maybe not throw as many fastballs, because after they done seen you a couple times, or after a time or two, you see the fastball a little bit better. So make sure get into that off speed a little bit more as well.
Sharp single out into center field for Tom Poole. That's the second hit of the ball game for the Patriots, and the third base runner against Reed Hensley.
Yeah, just driving that fastball right up the middle. So kind of looks like they're getting ready to hit that fastball, and that was just a really good swing right there by Tom Poole.
Dan Hefner is in his 18th season as the head coach at DBU. 10 straight NCAA regionals, 2 super regionals. In 2021, they won the Fort Worth Regional and fell 1 win shy of going to the College World Series. It is so cool to see programs who you don't think of the forefront of collegiate athletics go to the College World Series. DBU nearly did it. Coastal Carolina has won it all. Oral Roberts made it all the way to the College World Series a couple of years ago.
Yeah, you love seeing those Cinderella stories. I mean, everybody's usually cheering for those guys, but you know, Dan, he's been around for a long time. He's been around a lot of baseball. He's been around a lot of good baseball. He has this program in a really good spot right here to continue to be in multiple regionals, multiple super regionals, and potentially a College World Series eventually as well.
Hensley back here with the strike to Grant Jay. Jay fly it out to right field his first time. Dan Hefner said of this team, a lot of veteran position players and then kind of youthful, and they've had a couple of injuries with the pitching staff, guys they hope can come back. Nick Bond and then Luke Pettit, really highly regarded Andy Pettit's son, who is a sophomore, but they've been without him, hoping to get him back. And that's Skip Johnson. You ask him about this DBU team, and he said, you know, the name of the game is this one is smoked into left center field by Jay all the way to the wall off the second O in Oklahoma, scooped up by Jason Walk. Poole is going to be held up at third. He went about a fourth of the way down the line. That was a nice play by Jason Walk to get that ball back in and keep Poole from scoring.
Yeah, that's a really good job right there by Jason Walk. Definitely reading that ball off the wall right there, because that ball could have ricocheted and gone a long way. And so definitely a good job right there by Jason getting that ball in and getting it to the shortstop. And I think that's what the third base coach right there was really looking at, to see when that ball was going to get into the infield to make a decision on whether to send that guy home or not.
So runners at second and third on the double there by Grant Jay. Skip Johnson is going to the bullpen here. Smooth sailing for Reed Hensley, but he's run into trouble his second time through the DBU lineup tonight. The leadoff man Poole with a single and Grant Jay with a double. 1 out in the inning, and the Sooners going to the bullpen for the first time tonight. The sophomore come in out of White Oak, Texas, came through McLennan Community College. That is where Skip Johnson's son Tyler is the head coach, and this is a two-way player who has just really taken off on the mound this year for the Sooners.
Yeah, he's looked really good. I mean, just looking at those stats there, man, 19-3 K to walk ratio, that's impressive. And so he's going to be a guy who comes after you, and he throws a lot of fastballs, he throws a lot of off speed, but he's just a really good pitcher.
And he'll face Nathan Humphreys, who had a base hit his first time up. Oklahoma shifting the infield toward first base as the shortstop Willits is nearly behind second base. It's not a full-on shift, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a full-on shift, a mini shift, I guess you could say.
A repositioning. Nice pitch there from Gavin Jones, 90 miles an hour. And Humphreys kind of going, okay, all right.
Yeah, and he's got to be a tough matchup lefty-lefty to those left-handed hitters, you know. Just being as a right-handed hitter, facing him last year, it was still hard to kind of pick up that ball. So definitely as a lefty-lefty, I know it's probably a struggle.
That one blocked by Easton Carmichael. One of Gavin Jones' better performances was against Virginia. The Cavaliers, I know they've fallen in the rankings, haven't had the season they were hoping, but they were number 2 in the country when Oklahoma beat them this year.
Yeah, no, he looked good. He really looked good against Virginia that game, and so he's continued it all season long.
3 balls and a strike. First base is open, but Chayton Krause, who clubbed 2 home runs when these two teams met down in Dallas, is lurking in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, I bet you they don't want to see him up with bases loaded.
3-1 fastball is hit foul and out of play by Nathan Humphreys.
And that's a really good pitch right there by Gavin, because in this situation, you know, you're lefty-lefty right now. You got man on second and third, you want this matchup right now. As a pitcher, as a opposing team on defense, you want to get this guy out because you want to be able to get up with Chayton up with 2 outs.
Roped into right field. That's going to land. Chasing it is Sam Christensen. But in to score comes Tom Poole. Grant Jay right behind him. And it's a 2-run double for Nathan Humphries, who's 2 for 2 tonight. The Patriots grab a quick 2-0 lead in the third.
And that's just a good swing right there by Nathan Humphries. Just kind of seems like that off speed was hanging in the middle of the zone, and he was able to get the barrel to it, a little acceleration through that off speed, and was able to drive it to right field.
So those runs will be charged to Reed Hensley. 1 away now with Humphries at second. Here is Krause, who hit a fly ball caught by the center fielder Jason Walk, his first time. Four hits now for the Patriots. Again, offense has not been the issue for DBU when they have had their struggles this year. 20-11 on the season, 5-4 to start Conference USA play. They're the preseason pick to win Conference USA. And at 5-4, they're in a tie for third. We'll get all into the SEC as we move through the broadcast, but what a hornet's nest. I mean, every night.
Yeah, just kind of talking to a few coaches around the SEC, man. They talk about how it's just there is no you don't get a break in the SEC, and so it's just one of those things where, you know, you got to get ready for the next weekend, because who knows, you might be playing the number 5 team in the nation next season or next weekend, or you may be playing a top 25 team in the next weekend. And so it's just one of those things where, like I said, you can't get too high, you can't get too low, because there's going to always be a team lurking to get you.
You know, really making all that more remarkable the start that a couple of teams have gotten off to in conference play. Arkansas and Texas, both with just 1 loss.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both sitting there at 11-1 in the SEC.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. And I've been watching a few games that Texas has played, and they just look really good. They look very like a really good team who plays defense. They can hit. You know, they're just a very all-around good team. And that's hard for me to say right now too.
Wow.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody might get mad at me for saying that right now.
You're growing. You're growing.
Oh man.
Jim Schlossnagle taking over down there as the head coach. Here's a 3-2 for Krause. That one fouled off of Krause, so they're going to give him just a moment to kind of gather his senses.
Yeah, and that never really felt good, fouling that ball off your foot. I mean, it didn't happen to me that often, but when it did, it's one of those, like, it just stings, and it just doesn't go away. It just doesn't go away for a while, so. Oh, yeah.
Off that front ankle or front instep of Krause.
Yeah, and it's just always one of those times, too, where you're like, do I take 2 minutes? Do I take 30 seconds? Like, how much time do I need to take before I need to get back in this batter's box? Oh.
In the air, deep left field. Gamble turns and watches this ball sail out of here. So after fouling a pitch off of his ankle, Chayton Krause says, I'm going to take the slow roll around the bases this time, as he bombs one out of L. Dale Mitchell Park. In fact, it gets thrown back by a fan like we're at Wrigley Field in Chicago. And Chayton Krause has given DBU a 4-0 lead.
Yeah, just really good swing right there. Looks like he got an elevated off-speed pitch to hit and drove it up into the wind or left center. So really good swing right there. And so maybe that was a tactic of him, you know, fouling that ball off his foot and then hitting that home run right there. Who knows?
A quick 4-0 start here, and you think about Oklahoma's Reed Hensley. He was really cruising through a couple of innings. This ball is bounced in the hole between third and short by Keaton Grady. He's got his first hit, and that is 5 consecutive hits for DBU.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't even look like we have time to speak right now. They're just getting hit after hit after hit. So really good job right now by DBU, looking for balls in the zone and definitely taking advantage right now of some OU pitching.
For Chayton Krause, that is now 9 home runs and 44 runs driven in after that blast. He leads Conference USA with those 44 runs batted in. Here's Joey Narrett, struck out his first time against Reed Hensley.
Yeah, I was going to say, he already led the DBU team with 42 RBIs, and shoot, just like that, you get 2 more. And so just continue to add to that lead.
6 hits now for the Patriots tonight. Narrett takes strike 2 from Gavin Jones.
I think that just goes to show that Western Kentucky team is probably pretty good this year. You know, I know that they've been on a pretty good run lately, and so for them to be able to take 2 out of 3 from DBU is pretty impressive.
Best start in program history for Western Kentucky. They are 6-3 in Conference USA play after taking 2 of 3 from DBU over the weekend. That one breezes past Narrett all the way to the back screen, and down to second base will go Keaton Grady.
Yeah, just not a good 0-2 pitch right there. I don't know what that pitch was, but definitely just one of those things where looks like he tried to make it a little nastier than what he wanted it to, or what he should have done, and just kind of execute the pitch. I know that's what Skip talks about a lot, going 1 pitch at a time, executing the pitch. You already got him 0-2. You don't have to make that pitch any nastier or anything. You just need to execute that pitch.
Taken off for third goes Grady, and the pitch is fouled off.
No, I think
or
that was
did he just
3.
swing and miss?
Yeah,
he did. So it'll be a stolen base and a strikeout. 2 down.
Yeah, it just kind of looked like one of those swings where he saw the guy at second running, and he was trying to just protect himself and kind of protect the hitter, runner as well. But just a pitch that wasn't really close to the zone at all, and just took himself out of that AB.
So here is DeTalo, who walked his first time back in the second inning. Base hit to left, and a 5-0 lead for the Patriots. Just a sharp single, and DeTalo has been on base twice for DBU tonight. They've got 5 runs posted in the 3rd inning.
And I was going to say they already have 7 hits as well. It's the 3rd inning, and so they're just doing a really good job of, you know, after that first time around, definitely made some adjustments.
2-run double by Grant Jay, 2-run home run by Jayton Krause, and the RBI single by DeTalo. And the 9th batter of the inning is Cody Graybeck. There goes DeTalo. The throw by Carmichael, 1 hop, speared by Willits, but not in time, and a stolen base here for DeTalo.
Yeah, good throw down there. Right there by Easton, just not in time right there. Really good tag, but I think DeTalo just got there in time.
For DeTalo, just his 2nd stolen base of the year. It's 2 out of 4. Good pitch there from Gavin Jones. 0-2 now on Graybeck.
Do we have information on their stolen base? How have they been stealing the bases this year?
They are 57 of 69 are the Patriots. Oklahoma leads the SEC in stolen bases. 74 of 88 are the Sooners. Strike 3 called, and the inning is over, but 9 Patriots come to the plate, and they produce 5 runs on 6 hits. 5-0 DBU headed to the last of the 3rd. There's Jayton Krause, the first baseman, who hit a 2-run home run as part of a 5-run top of the 3rd for the Patriots. First, it was a 2-run double by Nathan Humphreys that started things. And this was 1 pitch after fouling a ball off of his front foot. Jayton Krause blasts that one. He's now got 44 runs driven in. And the RBI single by Michael DeTalo makes it a 5-0 lead for DBU. And out on the mound, Jared Jenkins has retired 6 of the 7 Sooner hitters that he has seen. Gave up a 2-out triple to Kyle Branch. Here's Braden Horton to lead things off for Oklahoma, making just his 3rd start of the year and his first since March the 16th against South Carolina. 0-2 quickly. Jenkins is working fast. He's got the lead. You can see the third baseman there, DeTalo, jogging over to the first base side of the infield as the shift is on here for DBU.
Yeah, it just kind of looks like one of those things where Mr. Jenkins is just in a groove right now. You know, he's getting on that bump and throwing and pumping strikes. Like, it doesn't matter what pitch it is, fastball, curveball, slider, it doesn't matter. It's just gonna be in the zone, and so he's doing a really good job of doing that so far.
Fourth strikeout here.
And that's just a really good pitch right there on the outside part of the plate. You know, that curveball just kind of looked like it was backdoored, and so just a really good pitch right there.
Dawson Willis now for the Sooners, batting in the 9 spot tonight. The junior from Ruston, Louisiana, transferred from JUCO Division II. LSU Eunice was on a national championship team in JUCO Division II. 12 stolen bases finds him second in the SEC in the stolen base department this year. And he shoots this one right at the center fielder, Nathan Humphries. Out number 2 in the books in the 3rd.
Yeah, just another good pitch right there. Looked like he kind of got him jammed up right there with that fastball. But I would love to see if Dawson could get on a little bit more, man. He's just one of those guys where he can really play a huge factor with his legs. And so just one of those things where, you know, you see that average in the low 230s or in the 230s. And so it's just one of those things where if he can get going a little bit more, then he could be a really huge part of this Oklahoma offense.
Back to the top of the order, and Jason Walk, who struck out looking his first time.
Yeah, I guess we'll try to see what we can do second time around the lineup as well.
That's where things got started for Dallas Baptist when they rolled the lineup over. Jason Walk has a hit in 22 of 30 games this year. You still have to like his walks to strikeouts ratio. He's walked 25 times and only struck out 18.
Yeah, that's really good right there. You know, he's just one of those guys. His presence in the box is pretty amazing. You know, as a small guy, you would think, oh, I'm just gonna, you know, throw some fastballs in there, get him to fly out or something like that. But he's just really good at getting a pitch that he wants and making contact with it. He doesn't strike out a lot. He has good bat to ball presence, and so he just does a really good job of not trying to swing at any bad pitches and hit the good ones.
What's big for a baseball guy now? There's a pretty good size difference there between Krause, who's about 6'4", and Walk, who's, you know, 5'10".
Yeah, I was gonna say you have guys like Aaron Judge in the league, and then you got guys like Jose Altuve in the league, and
that picture of the two of them out by second base is an all-timer.
But it's just one of those things, like, you just got to know how to play ball. As long as and I think you can hit, you can hit. It doesn't matter how tall you are, how small you are. If you can hit, they will find you.
Here's Gamble, who also struck out his first time as they throw over to chase Jason Walk back in. Walk 9 of 14 in the stolen base category. As we said, the Sooners lead the SEC. They've stolen 74 bases in 88 attempts. They lead in both steals and attempts.
Yeah, and I could see this being a point where J-Walk tries to get to second here. You know, we got 2 outs. Trey Gamble's up, and it's just one of those things where if he can get a base hit, then we can get one on the board as well.
Hit well. Retreating is the center fielder Humphries, and back to the warning track to pull in out number 3. So a 2-out walk is left stranded by the Sooners, and it's 5-0 Patriots as we move to the 4th. Pitcher of the night, and we hit the 4th inning. Expected to be a lot of arms out of the bullpen, and this one's been a good one for Skip Johnson and the Sooners. The Frisco, Texas high school freshman Michael Catalano, who was in after Reed Hensley went 2 1/3, and Gavin Jones went 2/3 of an inning. And Michael Catalano has been very good. You know, he's been a bullpen guy, which is a new thing when you're a freshman, and you know, you're a highly touted guy, as most of these guys were at their previous stops and in travel ball. Coming out of the bullpen's probably different for them, but he's made the adjustment quite well.
Yeah, I was going to say, just come as a freshman, too. He's just done a really good job. That walk to strikeout ratio is low once again. he's just doing a really good job of, controlling and staying in control and not really getting out of himself. He's one of those guys that's going to throw strikes. He's going to come at you. And him being from Frisco, I bet you probably already has a little data on some of these DBU guys. So
in the third, that means Adam Bergholt will start the fourth, just as he did the third. And he struck out to start the third. That's when the offensive explosion happened for DBU. Catalano sails one to the back screen, down around the shins there. Catalano, the numbers that stand out with him, 22 strikeouts and only 4 walks. And then he's given up 12 hits, but only 1 extra base hit.
Yeah, that just must mean that they're probably just not getting good wood on the ball against Catalano. I mean, if you're only giving up 1 extra base hit so far, that's pretty impressive. And we're deep into the season so far. So hopefully we can keep those numbers pretty low today as well.
You talk about the pitchers in this game. We're going to see a lot of them, but these two programs have produced a lot of them. In fact, you look at Major League Baseball rosters, Oklahoma's got 3 pitchers, and Cade Cavalli is on the 40-man roster for the Nationals. He is just on the IL for a few more days. But you've got some guys grouped up, former pitchers from these two programs. Jake Irvin, Cade Cavalli are with the Nationals, as is Colin Poche, who is a former DBU Patriot. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And that's crazy because
this is hit high and deep to left field. Trey Gamble back to the fence, reaches up, and it's gone. So it's a leadoff home run for Adam Bergholt. It's the second home run of the night for the Patriots, who have a 6-0 lead in the 4th. Yeah. DBU now 57 home runs as a ball club this year. And for Bergholt, that is home run number 4 on the year. RBI number 12.
Yeah, they're looking really good so far. I mean, instead of being Dallas Baptist, you could call them Dallas Bombers right now, to where they're hitting a lot of home runs today. And so I did say that with the wind, like, there's going to be some wind-blown home runs, but they've been on target so far.
So in 2 games between these teams, DBU's now hit 6 home runs. They hit 4 down at Horner Ballpark. That'll bring in Tom Poole, who started the rally in the 3rd with a 1-out single. He scored on Grant Jay's, or beg your pardon, on Nathan Humphrey's double. Shaton Krause hit a 2-run home run, and now Adam Bergholt has hit a solo shot for DBU. Two balls and a strike. So, you know, the thing Skip Johnson wants to continue to see with young pitchers is, how do you respond when the adversity hits? What's your next move?
Yeah, it's just one of those things where, you can't control it. You can't control the outcome. And so one of those things where, even though that ball was hit, like he hit that ball and it was a home run, we get the next guy out just like that. And so you kind of got to try to brush it off, try to put it in the back of your mind. But it's just one of those things where you really have to have a strong mental game right there, because if not, then you're just going to kind of spiral out of control. And so I think Catalano did a really good job of getting back on the mound, and throwing some strikes right there and getting the top of the lineup out.
He now faces Grant Jay. Jay doubled and scored in the 3rd. He flied to right field back in the 1st. This one is fouled back. We're talking about the pitchers. So you've got, for Oklahoma, John Gray with the Rangers got hit by a line drive in the hand, and hopefully he's back soon for them. And then Stephen Okert, who's had a very long big league career. He's now with the Astros. He was on the same Oklahoma pitching staff with John Gray. The 0-1 up and in. Mentioned Colin Poche. Drew Smith of DBU is with the Mets. And then Ryan Johnson. This is a very cool story. You probably remember Ryan Johnson, Kendall, because you would have faced him when you were at Oklahoma. This one is hit well to center field, and this ball is gone. Grant Jay with his 55th career home run, and the 3rd of the night for DBU. Grant Jay unloads to one of the deepest parts of L. Dale Mitchell Park. 7-0 Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, just a really good swing right there by the leader in home runs. And it's just funny seeing DBU do this right now, because, just growing up or going through the years at OU, and they did the same thing. And so it's just one of those things where, you know, you got to kind of limit the damage right here because they're obviously on a hot streak right now.
3 home runs for DBU on the night. And Grant Jay clubbing the 55th of his career, his 13th of the year. That is his 36th RBI. And 7-0 is the lead for the Patriots as Nathan Humphries is in. He had a 2-run double his first time. '58 home runs as a team for the Patriots now. Humphries 2 for 2 in this game. And 2 balls, no strikes.
And just a tough start right now by Catalano. He does look like he's in there throwing strikes. He's competing, but they're just getting good wood on the ball right now. So all you can really do right there is keep competing up there, keep throwing the ball in there, and hopefully they'll miss.
And 3 balls, no strikes now to Nathan Humphries. Humphries' brother Zach played at TCU and is now in the Angels organization. His dad Mike played for the New York Yankees back in the early 90s. And Nathan Humphries draws a 1-out walk. So he's been on base 3 times in 4 innings already as the center fielder of the Patriots. And here's Krause, who homered a 2-run shot back in the 3rd.
And in my opinion, that's already a good day. Getting on base 3 times in a game, I'll take it.
Krause takes on the outside edge from Catalano. This was back in the 3rd with Nathan Humphries aboard, having already doubled. And Jayton Krause cracking his 9th home run. RBIs 43 and 44 on the year.
Yeah, he's just a professional hitter. I just remember, you know, watching that DBU game, he popped 2 out to right field, and then you come here and go ahead and pull 1. And so just really showing all his power to all fields.
Foul tip that's hung onto by Easton Carmichael. And Catalano's going to throw over. So I was talking about the pitchers before I was rudely interrupted by a home run a moment ago. Ryan Johnson of the Angels, he's only the 2nd player in Major League Baseball history, 2nd in MLB history, to go straight from college to the majors without spending time in the minor leagues.
Talk about a dream come true, right?
Man. Well, you don't get to ride all the buses and eat the bad food like on Bull Durham if you don't spend time in the minor leagues.
Yeah, that's fair.
the only other player to do that, Pete Incaviglia. There goes Humphries, and this one is swatted foul. But Ryan Johnson already with the Angels. Debuted opening day. He is DBU's all-time strikeouts leader.
Are you talking about Pete Incaviglia from Oklahoma State?
I am talking about that Pete Incaviglia.
Right. And the funny thing is, the only reason I actually know that name is because they talk about him a lot at Oklahoma State. He's got a lot of records there. So.
He does. Home run records for college baseball at one time. And a great throw there by Easton Carmichael that guns down Nathan Humphries. So the inning is over on a caught stealing. But 2 more home runs in the inning and now 3 on the night for DBU to this point. It was Adam Bergholt to lead off the inning. And then Grant Jay with his 55th career home run right there. 7-0 Patriots headed to the bottom of the 4th. Grant Jay and this Patriots offense. Nick Bond is out there. They're happy to have him back. He had been out, the junior from Laguna Beach. He'll get some time here and face Easton Carmichael for the Sooners. Nick Bond was Pepperdine's Friday night starter a season ago. I mean, Laguna Beach and Pepperdine, that's living the dream right there, isn't it?
I mean, it can't get any better than that. And I haven't even been to Pepperdine yet, and I still want to go because I just heard so many good things about it.
Carmichael pops this one up to DeTalo, the 3rd baseman, for the first out in the 4th inning. So a good night for Jared Jenkins, who started and lasted the first 3 innings for DBU. He gave up the triple to Branch and a walk to Jason Walk, but that was it, just 2 base runners. And so he's able to put his heels up with a 7-0 lead and give way to the bullpen.
Yeah, Jared Jenkins just came into Norman and really shut them down. You know, only giving up the 1 hit, which was the triple with 2 outs. And so he just did a really good job of making sure that keeping hitters off balance and throwing that curveball in there. And he just did a really good job, especially on a windy day like today.
There's Jackson Willits. Tried to mix things up and bunt his way aboard back in the second, but Tatalo made a nice play to throw him out from third base.
Yeah, and I could see how Bond could be a Friday starter too. He's got a funky little wand up there. I don't know if you've been looking at it, but it's very interesting, and it kind of looks like that arm is very whippy as well. Like he kind of slings it from behind.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know exactly how I would describe it. I think maybe the way you said whippy.
Yeah, it's like, because it's hard to describe, but I guess funky is a good word as well. But he looks like he's got some wicked stuff out there probably.
You don't see the ball until his release point happens.
Yeah, and it's 94 too, so.
And there's that.
DBU, man.
Dan Hefner, he's just felt like and knows that his team is bound to be good by year's end as Willits flipped the bat away and got rung up for a strike there by the plate umpire Mike Morris. But he's felt like if they could just get healthy and more than anything experienced on the mound, this DBU team can do what they felt like and hope they were capable of.
Yeah, I mean, I think bringing in guys like Bond, who, like you said, was the Friday starter, that's just another good, talented arm right there.
Swing and a miss. And so Willits is out on strikes. That's the 5th strikeout for DBU pitching tonight.
Yeah, he just did a really good job right there. It looks like he elevated that fastball. You know, in a 3-2 count, you're already going to be swinging at a couple balls that may not even be a strike. And so he just did a really good job of kind of keeping that ball at the eye level and got Jackson a swing and miss.
Here's Sam Christensen, who struck out his first time. Ground ball to the second baseman Grady, and out of the bullpen Nick Bond throws a 1-2-3 inning to start his stint on the mound for DBU tonight, and the Patriots carry a 7-0 lead to the 5th inning in Norman. 51 runs in the series. Texas able to sweep third-ranked Georgia. Texas has got 12 comeback wins, and Ryan Galvan had a 10th inning home run for them to complete that series. But it is a rough go in the SEC if you're not playing your best ball. Jaden Barfield been very good. Another freshman out of Skip Johnson's bullpen. ERA 2.89. Looks like we got a Keaton Grady appearance here at the plate.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I think it's a good thing Skip bringing out some freshmen in this game. I think this is a very important game for a lot of people and for a lot of the guys on the team. And so for them to see bringing in some freshmen is pretty cool.
This one rifled down the right field line. A fair ball. Keaton Grady sprints for second base. Christensen's going to pick it up in the left field corner, but it's a leadoff double for Keaton Grady, who's got 2 hits on the night.
Yeah, and that's just a really good swing right there. It just seems like he let that ball get a little deep on him and was able to drop that ball down the right field line. And it looks like Taki over there at first was off the line a little bit too, and so he was able to hug that line right there and drop it for a double. Really good swing right there by Keaton.
Joey Narrett is the batter. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. And Barfield deals him a strike.
Kind of seems like he's like the only one without a hit in the lineup, huh?
Well, there's one other that we'll get to. Patriots have 10 hits, and 6 of them have been either a double or a home run so far. This one is whacked foul as it slices out of play. So we're talking about the SEC, and Oklahoma's got Vanderbilt coming up this weekend. They'll be here in Norman. They swept Florida last weekend for the first time in program history.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, like we said, it just doesn't get any easier. So Vanderbilt's probably hot right now. You know, they're excited that they just swept Florida. And that's a good team right there. That Vanderbilt team is going to be well-rounded and a very sounded team. And so excited to see that series coming up this weekend.
All 16 SEC teams are in action tonight in the midweek. Jaden Barfield readies his 1-2 and outside. Barfield hasn't given up a run his last 5 outings. A week ago tonight, Oklahoma got a good win down in the DFW Metroplex against Texas Tech, and Barfield pitched an inning and 2/3 of scoreless work.
Yeah, I really like Jaden. He kind of reminds me, and I told him, is it okay if I called him Lil CC, because of just the kind of appearance he has on the mound and presence that he has. I love the hat tilted to the side a little bit, or cocked to the side. I know he's got a little bit of weight on him, but he looks good. He's really good up there, and he's got the lefty just like CC Sabathia, and so he's done a really good job this season as a freshman, and really excited to see what he becomes.
Barfield's 2-2 off the end of the bat, and Willits retreats to catch it. Tries to throw back in behind the runner, Keaton Grady, and Grady able to leap back in there. Nicely done there by Jackson Willits to get the first out.
Yeah, that's a really good play right there by Jackson. Definitely on one of those balls that it looked like it was kind of cued off the end, and so he was definitely trying to hurry up and get back there and get a good throw off to second base too. So actually really good job by both Jackson and the guy second base, and the second base runner as well. Not, trying to get excited and try to turn that into a run.
Here is DeTalo, who's been on base twice. He's walked and singled. Jackson Willits, solid defensive play. Of course, Reggie is the offensive coordinator for Oklahoma, and then Dan Hefner over in the DBU dugout coaches his son Luke, who's not in the lineup tonight but has been a regular. He's a senior.
We're seeing some father-son duos here today.
We are. Now, I saw the second base umpire out there, Brandon Meisen, signal 1-1 should be the count. I don't know what happened there.
I think he was more so telling them that that counted as a step off.
Gotcha.
Maybe.
Yep.
And it was one of those things where I remember talking, or not talking, but listening in on some SEC preseason stuff, some preview stuff before the season started, and they were talking about step-offs and pick-off moves and stuff like that. And I think they said you have to actually look like you're committed to that play. That one kind of just looked like he stepped off and threw it to second.
There's a base hit to left by DeTalo with Grady, the runner, on the move. He scores easily from second base. And it's 8-0 DBU in the fifth. DeTalo has his second hit, and Grady has scored for the second time tonight. Just a long secondary lead out there at second base, and he scores easily.
Yeah, very interesting play right there. Kind of just seemed like it more so a run and hit, I guess you could say, compared to a hit and run, and kind of just looked like it was definitely just one of those plays where you got to be okay with it and understand that it's one of those things where if Dawson was there at third, he might have picked that ball up, but unfortunately with the guy running to third base, it was just one of those tough lucks.
Like that move out there, Easton Carmichael. You got a really veteran catcher and a freshman, and the wheels are spinning really fast for this freshman right now.
Yeah, I really do like that move by Easton. I think Jaden's done a really good job of pitching to contact and throwing a lot of balls in the zone and doing a really good job of throwing strikes, but it's just one of those things where this DBU team has been really good. So
Graybeck bunts this one, and a sidewinding throw to first by Barfield retires Graybeck. DeTalo will move into scoring position for DBU.
Yeah, and that was a really good play right there by the pitcher, getting off the mound. Definitely one of those plays that he was going up the first base line as a lefty. I bet you that's a pretty hard play, but he made it look very easy. That's good to see out of a freshman, too. Someone who can get off the mound and still be confident enough to get that out right there.
Here is Adam Bergholt with now DeTalo in scoring position. Of a late swing, more of a defensive swing there by Bergholt, who homered back in the fourth. DBU 5 runs in the third, 2 in the fourth, 1 here in the 5th inning to grab this 8-0 lead. That looked more like an actual attempt there.
Yep, and that's why I think the umpire gave safe instead of the 2-1s out. And so it's just one of those, I guess, kind of, it's really up to the umpire's discretion. One of those things where if he thinks it's a pickoff, then it is, but if not, then it isn't.
One and one to Bergholt. His home run earlier tonight was his 4th. That'll roll the count to a ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, and this is a good count right here by Jaden. You know, we got not first and second, but 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Definitely want to get with the non-hitter up right now. Definitely want to see if we can get this guy out.
Two balls and 2 strikes now on Adam Bergholt. Jaden Barfield is the 4th Sooner pitcher utilized so far. Reed Hensley, Gavin Jones, Michael Catalano, and now Barfield. Beautiful breaking pitch that froze Bergholt for the final out. It'll be a run on 2 hits for the Patriots. We are halfway through this one, and DBU is on top, 8-0. Out on the mound, and it'll be Avery Duncan now out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. 6'2", about 190 pounds.
Like, as somebody that goes to DBU, how do you get a kid from Green Bay, Wisconsin? You know what I mean? Like, that's up there by me. And you know, that's where that team that us Bears fans do not like over there. So.
Well, that's okay.
I don't know if me and him would be friends.
Oh, I'm sure you get along just fine. Because it's about the sport of baseball.
That's true.
Kyle Branch leading things off for the Sooners. He tripled back in the 2nd. The lone hit so far tonight for Oklahoma. Dan Hefner really likes this talented freshman. Fastball, slider kind of a guy. But isn't everybody these days?
Everybody. Sinker, slider, splinker.
What was the nastiest pitch for you? What was your kryptonite?
I would say it was not necessarily the type of pitch, but the way that they would pitch me. They would go sinkers in, sliders away. You know I wasn't necessarily looking for a ball inside to hit. I was looking for a ball out over the plate. And a lot of times that, you know, they would go fastball in or sinker in, and then I'm like, okay, well, now I'm trying to, you know, get my barrel to the sinker inside, and then, you know, you throw a couple sliders in there. Now I'm just out in front, and so it's hard. It really is. And I like when I tell people, I give people a lot of credit for the way that they hit a baseball, because it was really that hard.
3 balls and 2 strikes now to Kyle Branch.
I like fastballs down the middle.
Chopper to short. And Graybeck making it look pretty easy out there.
Yeah, really good play right there. Just kind of on the run and was able to get a pretty fast guy and Kyle Branch out.
Patriots, very good fielding club, 979 fielding percentage, 2nd best in Conference USA so far this year.
I was going to say, what constitutes as a good fielding percentage? I actually never really knew the answer to that.
Limited errors and I would say, you know, 980 is probably really good. But hey, that's probably a coach would always want better.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
This one, Taki was on that ball, just fouled it off. He grounded out to DeTalo, the 3rd baseman, his first time.
Kind of looked like that ball was coming right back at us as well.
Scare you for a second, didn't it?
Just a little bit.
Outside here too. Dayton Taki came out of Weatherford College. Skip Johnson aware of him in that conference. That's where McLennan Junior College is, where Skip Johnson's son Tyler is the head coach. So you know about a guy's competitive fire. That's a super competitive league down there in Texas. I mean, you look at rosters all over the SEC. There's McLennan guys and Weatherford. I'm sure you had teammates that were from both.
Yes, definitely had teammates from both, but especially McLennan, just because of obviously the pipeline between Skip and his son. And it's just one of those things where, you know, you as somebody who's been at a D1 and then you see JUCO guys, you're like, okay, how are they gonna, you know, fend at the D1 level? But a lot of times they do a really good job, man, and it's very impressive to see a lot of those JUCO guys.
Good fight here between Duncan and Taki.
Yeah, I was gonna say, getting late in this game, Sooners got to get some guys on the bases, or something got to have to start happening. They want to make this game competitive.
Patriots hit them 11-1. Neither team has committed an error to this point. That one goes off the hip of Avery Duncan, but he'll scramble to it and throw him out. And we'll see if Avery Duncan's okay.
Yeah, really good play right there by Avery Duncan. You know, to stay calm and composed, even though that ball hit him, and you know you got a runner running down that first base line, and you see that ball kind of trickle away from you like that. It's kind of, you know, you don't, and that clock in your head, you know, you kind of get all sorts of out of whack and things like that. But he did a really good job of understanding where the runner was and making a good throw over there to first.
First one too tall here to Braden Horton. That is now 6 Sooners retired in a row by DBU pitching. And 1-1 the count. Braden Horton struck out his first time up. Got a couple of pinch hitting appearances in the LSU series over the weekend, but this is his first start in the regular Oklahoma lineup since March the 16th. And that one called a strike to square the count at 2-2. And now the shift by the Patriots.
And really just watching a couple of Braden Horton's ABs over the year. He's a good player. I would like to see if they would put him in the lineup a little bit more. He seems like he puts bat on ball just like he did there. And usually when you put bat on ball, good things happen.
He nailed it. Sliding over to get it was Graybeck, but he'll have no play, and that's the second Sooner hit of the ball game.
Yeah, just did a really good job of, I know he's got 2 strikes on him. He wanted to stay inside that ball, knowing that there's a lot of hits up the middle, and he did a really good job of staying up the middle right there and getting on first base. A really good swing right there.
So a 2-out single there by Horton brings Dawson Willis to the plate, the number 9 batter. Jared Jenkins, then Nick Bond, and now Avery Duncan, the 3 pitchers utilized by the Patriots. Cale Johnson is their second-year pitching coach. There's a fastball for a strike. Dawson Willis hit a fly ball to center field and was put out by Nathan Humphries his first time. Fouled back. We talked about the experience of this DBU roster, in particular offensively. A little less experience when it comes to the mound. Oklahoma is the opposite. You know, you almost take for granted, given the starts that guys like Kyle Branch and Dawson Willis got off to, just how inexperienced at this level Oklahoma is. Really only 3 guys who are in the regular lineup who played last year at Oklahoma, and that's Easton Carmichael, the catcher, Jason Walk in center field, but he's just a sophomore, and then Jackson Willett's the shortstop, and he's also just a sophomore.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where Oklahoma last year had a lot of guys, you know, a lot of older guys, a lot of guys who have been around for a while, and a lot of guys either got drafted or they were done playing, and so it's just one of those things where you got to revamp on the offensive side, and it's going to be hard. It really is going to be a uphill battle climb for offense, but pitching is obviously going to be a stronghold for them.
Duncan strikes out Yu, moving to the 6th. Yu moving to the 6th. At that one. That young man behind the plate we showed a moment ago, he was having a good night, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's the definition of $2 Tuesday right there.
Agreed. Mom and Dad get that credit card bill. They're like, what? L. Mitchell Park? Yeah, it was $2 night, Mom and Dad. It's all good.
Yeah, Mom only spent $12. We're fine.
Tom Poole and the Patriots here in the 6th inning, and Jaden Barfield back out there for his 2nd inning of work. Poole's 1 for 3 tonight. Skies this one to straightaway left field. Trey Gamble kind of misjudged that. It lands on the warning track. And into second base with the double is going to be Tom Poole. Kendall, you played out there in left field a bunch in this ballpark. What's going on out there?
Yeah, I think it's just one of those times in the night where, you know, if that ball gets above those lights right there, then that ball just disappears. You know, it kind of just seemed like looking at Trey trying to field that ball, he got lost. And so once those balls get above those lights, it just seems like it disappears, and it's just one of those things where you can't really panic, because if you panic, you're just going to make things worse. But it's one of those things where, you know, it's a tough break, and that's how the game has been going for the Sooners.
Yeah, that's the 7th extra base hit, and this one is lined toward Trey Gamble, runs it down, throws back into second, but not in time to get Tom Poole. Grant Jay is retired. Grant Jay had doubled and homered, and he hit that ball hard.
Yeah, and that was a really good swing right there by Grant Jay, but also a really good job by Trey Gamble getting a second chance right there. I mean, it came right back to him.
What's on those cards?
So
how does the communicate? I mean, I know it's the defensive adjustments and plays, but how does the communication work?
I was going to say, I don't know if I should talk too much on it, just because, you know.
You're sworn to secrecy on this deal?
Yeah.
I don't want to get you into trouble.
But it's literally a position card.
Yeah.
Talks about how far Oppo you should go on a guy, how far Poole you should go on a guy. Really just positioning that a lot of the coaching. We appreciate it every time, and it usually puts us in a good position to go make a good play.
Did you ever run out into the field and forget your card and not know what the play was supposed to be?
There was always times where, and I'm probably going to rat out the coaches a little bit, but there was times where they would have a guy up to bat, and he wasn't on the card, and I would be like, Spike, what are we doing?
Humphreys with a rocket of a ground ball up the middle, and Tom Poole is in to score. It is 9-0 DBU now. Nathan Humphreys with his 3rd hit and his 3rd run driven in. He's been on base 4 times tonight. "13 hits for the Patriots and 9 runs pushed across." In the top of the 6th inning we are.
Yeah, this is just been a one-sided affair right here, Chad. And we're only in the 6th inning.
Up and in to Kraus. It gets away from Carmichael, and into second will go Humphreys.
Yeah, and I don't know, but up here it looks like Kraus is giving Jaden Barfield a little stare down after that, you know, sweet chin music right there. I mean, that ball was coming right for his head, so I understand.
Kraus, 2-run home run back in the 3rd inning. And now Humphreys in scoring position. There's Shaden Kraus. We talked about his time playing in the Little League World Series 2015, so that was 10 years ago. His team from Pennsylvania winning the American Championship. What a special memory that had to have been.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
There you go. There's the walk-off base hit in the U.S. Championship.
Do you see how many people are there, too?
I'm telling you, that thing has exploded in the last 15 years. Of course, all of ESPN's coverage over the years, it's made it so big. 2-1 the count here to Chayton Krause. And we talk about the life experiences of him. You know, growing up in New Zealand, you come to the United States and play in the Little League World Series. Then you represent New Zealand in the World Baseball Classic. That's what the sport of baseball can do.
Yeah, it's one of those sports where it takes you all over the world. I know just by playing baseball in my career, I've been to so many places I would have never imagined. And it's just one of those things where you just meet so many people from so many different parts of the world, so many people with different cultures, different personalities, and that's why I love the sport, because it's just one of those things where it's kept me in the loop with a lot of different people, and it's kept me, you know, one of those things where I just love meeting new people, and so it's been a really good experience in my opinion.
Krause bangs one foul and out of play off of Barfield. Jaden Barfield, the fourth pitcher of the night, utilized by Skip Johnson and the Sooners. He's worked an inning and a third, given 2 runs, both earned on 4 hits. And there is ball 4 to Chayton Krause.
I don't know if you know, but I was a game away from going to the Little League World Series.
You were?
Yep.
What year was this?
This was, oh man.
Uh-oh, if it's been that many years, then.
Well, it had to be either 2013. It was probably like 2012.
So 12 years ago.
Yeah, about 12 years, because I'm trying to remember how old I was when it happened. I think I was about 12 years old, because I think that's the
about
age, right? Yep. So 2012, about 12 years ago.
Keaton Grady is in. You were close to meeting Chayton Krause.
Yeah, I was. And
missed each other by about a year.
I was on one of those Jackie Robinson West teams, and so we lost to, and I mean, I could tell you the team and everything. Grosse Pointe, Michigan. I remember the guy pitching and everything. It was just one of those surreal moments for me.
Big hack there by Grady, who has singled and doubled and scored twice. And then you were on the national runner-up team at the Big College World Series.
Yeah, man, it's just like, I'm just missing it by one.
Listen, partner, you're not a runner-up up here.
Well, I appreciate it.
1-1 in the air to right. Christensen runs it down. Nathan Humphrey's going to tag up at second and advance down to third base. So runners at first and third, and 2 gone now. That ball hit pretty hard, but played well by Sam Christensen.
Yeah, really good play right there out by Sam. No, he hasn't gotten any action in a few innings, so definitely glad that he was ready and caught that ball. And so this is actually a really big AB. I know we haven't really talked about it much, but with it being 9-0, and, you know, obviously Oklahoma being in the SEC, there is a run rule. So this could potentially be run rule territory right here.
And it would be after 7 innings. That's what happened in the first meeting between these two teams. TBU got an 11-0 run rule down at Horner Ballpark. Here's Joey Narrett, 0 for 3 in this game. Couple of strikeouts, and then hit a flare that was caught by the shortstop Willits his last time. 2-0 the count. And Skip Johnson is out of the Sooner dugout. See if he's going to make a change here. He is not afraid to change in the middle of an at-bat.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where he's going out there to talk to him. With the freshman on the mound, I know the game is 9-0 right now, and kind of just seems like with those 2 pitches, they weren't really competitive. So, you know, it's just one of those things where he's going to go out there, try to calm him down. Tell him, hey, look, you know, we need you to get back into the strike zone right now and just continue to compete.
That's Jackson Kircher, who is loosening in the bullpen. But with Skip Johnson, every pitch is going to be competitive, or you're going to be told about it.
Oh, yeah. If you are not being competitive out there, Skip will not be afraid to let you know. And so that's one thing I really do love about Skip.
2-0 pitch. Narrett Jr. out of Campbellsport, Wisconsin. Goes after another high hard one.
Now sometimes all it takes is for the head coach to get out there, or just for any coach to go out there and kind of calm you down. You know, we got two outs, and so just understanding that we only need 1 more left.
just a tad bit outside. And a full count now. A walk would load the bases for Michael Tatalo, who has 2 hits tonight. And the payoff is swung on and missed. So Jaden Barfield gets a big strikeout of Joey Narrett with 2 men aboard. But the Patriots pad their lead with a run on 2 hits. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. 9-0 Dallas Baptist. There's just 2 hits so far off of 3 different Patriots pitchers. 3rd time through the lineup for Oklahoma, beginning with Jason Walk, who has struck out and walked in this game tonight. Avery Duncan worked a scoreless 5th inning, gave up a hit.
And I was going to say, with the top of the lineup coming up right now, I mean, this is probably going to be our best chance to get some runs on the board. We definitely need some, with it being 9-0 going into the bottom of the 6th.
Walk, slow hit ground ball to Grady. He runs well. The throw is a little bit wide, but nice job by Krause to keep his back foot on the bag, and Walk is retired to start the 6th.
Yeah, and that's just a really good play right there by Grady Keaton. And also, really good hustle right there by Jason Walk. He could have just kind of jogged that ball down to first base, but literally he had a chance with it being hit on the ground and using his speed, and it actually caused Grady to probably speed up a little bit and caused him to kind of throw an errant throw over there. So
we've not had a review yet tonight.
No review.
Should I have said that, or am I jinxing it?
Well, and that's the funny thing, because I've talked to Toby about, is there a reporter or a broadcaster jinxing? He doesn't believe in it.
He does not, nor do I.
He doesn't believe in it. I don't think I do either. I think you either just, you know the sport or you don't know the sport.
Yeah. I mean, if broadcasters could impact the outcome of a contest, then they would probably try to impact it more.
Oh, yeah.
This one chased down by Nathan Humphries for the 2nd out, as Trey Gamble is 0 for 3 now. Quickly 2 gone in the 6th inning, and Avery Duncan has retired now 5 of the 6 Oklahoma batters that he's faced.
Yeah, he's done a good job, but that was also a really good swing right there by Trey. I know that you just said that he's 0 for 3, but he's barreled the ball up twice now and flew out to deep center field twice now. So that's just a few things where when you're scuffling and you're struggling, you don't really see those things. But those are things you need to take as positives, because those are really good swings right there, and you're just not getting the result that you want.
Easton Carmichael 0 for 2. He's grounded to short and popped up. Leading the Sooners with 30 runs batted in on the year. Did he hold up? He checked his swing, so it's 1-1. That one blazes up and in. 2 balls and a strike. Fastball on the inner half, and strike 2. Into center field as Easton Carmichael bears down and comes through with the 3rd Sooner hit. He just wasn't going to give in on that at bat.
Yeah, it just didn't seem like he was going to go down without a fight. That was a really good swing right there. Took advantage of a hanging slider up in his zone and did a really good job of driving it back up the middle. So really good job right there by Easton.
Oklahoma in need of a spark. Maybe that tough at bat by Easton Carmichael can be a bit of one. Jackson Willits is in. He's 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout tonight.
Chad, I don't know if you could tell, but it does seem like that wind is kind of slowed down a little bit. So I don't know if that really matters anymore right now, with it being a little bit later in the game, but definitely can still use it. It is still blowing out to left, so hopefully he can kind of, you know, Jackson try to catch a ball deep in his own right hand, try to drive it out to left field.
He is Oklahoma's leading home run hitter with 8. The 0-1 just misses outside from Avery Duncan. You know, you talk about good hitters, guys who square the ball up, and these two right here, Carmichael and Willits, they don't get jammed very much. They don't hit little dribblers. They don't hit many foul balls that, you know, just barely go back to the back screen or something.
Yeah, it's one of those things where both of these guys are just really good at barrel control, and they're really good at controlling the barrel. Even if they're on fastball timing and they hang a slider, they're still able to get the barrel on the ball, and they just do a really good job of continuing to go with that swing, even if they swing through it or things like that. And just one of those things where they put in a lot of work. You know, just being around those guys, they're hard workers. They work hard all the time, and that's really what the output is.
And of course, the Patriots with the veterans, they had just a veteran type of crew between Jay and Chayton Krause, Detallo.
Yeah, they've played a lot of baseball, you know, in their days, and so that's also very important for a team as well, is to have a few guys who have been around for a while, and for them to be able to impact those freshmen or those newcomers or those guys that are just now coming into the DBU team. And so really good job by both teams and both players on both teams.
2 balls, 2 strikes here to Willits after the base hit by Carmichael. Pulled to first, backhanded down on one knee by Krause, and the inning is over. The ball was hit hard by Jackson Willits, but it's out number 3, and it's 9-0 Patriots as we move to the 7th inning. Kircher is the 5th pitcher utilized by Skip Johnson and the Sooners tonight. Another one of those young guys who's been solid out of the bullpen. Not much work, 7 2/3 innings, but a good strikeouts to walks ratio of better than 3-1.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys that he didn't throw a lot early in the season, but as the season kind of progressed, he was able to get himself in there and some pitching a little bit, and was able to come out and do a really good job. And so now he's been able to put himself in a role where he can come in and throw in a game.
Michael Detallo has been on base 3 times. He has sliced the first 2 pitches foul over on the first base side. So 0-2 the count.
And I see why Skip likes him too. That fastball being up at 95 right now. He's a big boy up there, so definitely a good fastball.
That one, breaking pitch outside. But you get around to a lot of these college pitching staffs, SEC staffs, it looks like a basketball team.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. You see some guys up here that are 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", you know, look like they could be playing on Florida's team or something like that.
Detallo caught looking for the first out in the 7th inning. So Jackson Kircher starts things with a strikeout.
And that's a good job right there by Jackson, you know, just coming in and pumping strikes, getting that first out. Really good job.
Oklahoma, as we mentioned, will have Vanderbilt coming to town this weekend for SEC play. And Dallas Baptist will be at Jacksonville State for the weekend.
Is that in Florida? Just one of those things where we need to look it up.
You know, we talk so much about it's in Alabama, is Jacksonville State.
Okay.
Conference USA, Louisiana Tech, Western Kentucky, Liberty. You got DBU, of course. New Mexico State, FIU, Kennesaw State, Middle Tennessee State, and Sam Houston State. As Graybeck strikes out, back-to-back strikeouts here for Jackson Kircher.
Yeah, that fastball right there, I mean, it's getting up there. That last fastball was up to 96, and it just looks like it's kind of taken off right there. So really good job right here by Jackson, who's doing a really good job of executing that fastball and throwing that fastball and just daring people to hit it.
So 2 gone and the base is clear, and here's Berkholt, who homered back in the 4th, but he has struck out twice tonight. And Jackson Kircher is looking for the first 1-2-3 inning by Oklahoma pitching tonight, if he could get Berkholt. And 1-1 the count. Good breaking pitch there from Jackson Kircher.
Really good breaking pitch right there. Very, very well executed on the outside part of the zone right there.
Pulled sharply foul.
I don't know if Russell Rayleigh can jump up and get out of the way right there like he did.
It's Cliff Pennington coaching third base, showing his hops down there. Couldn't quite see it, I don't think, on our high home camera. This one into right field, and that's the first 1-2-3 inning worked by an Oklahoma pitcher tonight. It is Jackson Kircher with a scoreless 7th. 9-0 DBU at the 7th inning stretch. Bottom 7 here. New pitcher is Ethan Kroll, freshman out of Brighton, Colorado. He's the 4th pitcher utilized by the Patriots tonight. Jared Jenkins started. Then Nick Bond, Avery Duncan, and now Kroll. And Oklahoma needing to find some life offensively. Sam Christensen will start things in the bottom of the 7th. Christensen tonight is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out.
Yeah, and Kroll come as a freshman. He's already 6'4", 200 pounds. That's a pretty good sized freshman right there.
Big lad. Walks have been a little bit of a problem in his limited appearances. But there is a strike to Sam Christensen. Sooners' biggest threat came back in the 2nd when Kyle Branch tripled. But I believe that's the only time they've had a runner in scoring position against the 3 different arms for the Patriots to this point.
And I was going to say, Chad, usually if you only have one guy in scoring position, that's not a good recipe for success.
And Sam Christensen swings and misses there. So here's Kyle Branch, who had the triple back in the 2nd. He is also grounded out to short.
And that was just really good pitching right there by Ethan. He just seemed like he kind of got Sam out in front right there with a few changeups and just did a really good job of keeping those changeups on the outside part of the zone.
Home run and 19 runs driven in for the freshman Kyle Branch. Kyle Branch was the MVP of the Round Rock Classic. The Sooners went there. They had those 2 top 10 wins over Oregon State and Virginia in back-to-back games. First time since 2022, the team that you were on with back-to-back top 10 wins for Oklahoma. Oklahoma knew that Kyle Branch would defend at a very good level. He strokes this one toward left. Lunging down to play it on a hop is going to be Tom Poole. That's the 2nd hit for Kyle Branch tonight.
Yeah, and that's a really good swing right there by Kyle Branch, and also a dangerous play out there by Tom Poole. You know, that ball, with that ball sinking in like that, he tried to make a diving play and try to scoop it right there, and luckily he did. If not, that ball definitely gets past him, and Kyle Branch might have himself another triple today.
Branch's triple, by the way, earlier, the 10th for Oklahoma this year. As a team, they lead the SEC in triples. Dayton Taki now.
Guess we could use a few triples right now.
Taki 0 for 2 with 2 groundouts in this one. And Kroll misses a little bit outside with that one. Patriots got on the board in the top of the third. 2-run double by Humphries, 2-run homer by Krause, RBI single by Ditalo. Home runs by Bergholt and Jay in the top of the fourth made it 7-0. And then Ditalo singled home run in the fifth, and Humphries singled home run in the sixth to get to this 9-0 score that we currently have. And Taki's able to draw the walk.
Really good AB right there by Taki. Didn't get to swing the bat, but this is something that we talked about with Ethan Kroll. He's had some struggles with some command issues this year, and so definitely dealing with some right now.
First mound visit for Cale Johnson for DBU tonight as Oklahoma starts to threaten.
Imagine your first mound visit being in the 7th inning.
You take that. Arts and crafts time. I'm not sure that that's a class. Just a quick visit there and back to the dugout will go Cale Johnson. Here's Braden Horton. You know, Kendall, Braden Horton, limited playing time. He's got a single already tonight. This is one of those times where you could get yourself more in the mix on a night like this.
Yeah, this is definitely a good opportunity right here by Braden if he continues to just compete up there. Not necessarily even saying that he has to hit a ball in the gap right here, but just making sure he puts up another good AB, continue to put up quality ABs, and do a good job of putting bat to ball will definitely keep you in the lineup and have some eyes and have some eyebrows raised.
1-1 on Braden Horton. Lifts this one on the infield foul, way up into the air. Ditalo in foul ground, and that is 2 down. That was way up there.
Yeah, that one was way up there. And I know with the wind swirling around up there, it probably had him dizzy up there as he was going a little bit back and forth right there. But just got under that one a little bit, and unfortunately the wind didn't take it out of play.
So here's Dawson Willis. 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a fly ball to center tonight. Cal Branch has a single, Dayton Taki a walk.
It would be good to see the Sooners get on board here.
Just a breakthrough.
Just a breakthrough. Make this game a little bit more interesting for the fans.
1-2 now, though. Ethan Kroll. That little visit from pitching coach Cale Johnson seemed to do the trick. And 2 balls, 2 strikes now. So Willis. Dawson Willis, a tall, rangy guy. He does remind you a little bit of Peyton Graham, your former teammate, who was drafted by the Tigers.
Oh yeah, the long limbs and everything.
Ropes this one to left. That'll fall for a hit. Around third base comes Kyle Branch, and he will score the first Sooner run of the night. And Dawson Willis delivers an RBI single in the 7th inning.
How about that? The Sooners get on the board right there by Grit Singh right there by Dawson Willis. Was able to catch that ball hanging up in the zone and was able to drive it to the left center gap. And so really good swing right there by Dawson. And just a really good job by the Sooners continue to fight and get guys on.
And that also rolls the lineup over. And Jason Walk will get a crack at it. That's Oklahoma's first run against Dallas Baptist in 2 games this season. Jason Walk has struck out, walked, and grounded to second base, and now we'll see Burgle go out for a visit.
Yeah, and this is just one of those situations where you just want to keep passing the baton. You know, it's one of those instances where you're still down 8 runs. It's getting late, and there is no 8-run home run. There's nothing you can do about it. You just got to continue to get guys on, continue to fight, continue to compete, and continue to battle, because it's not going to just happen with one guy. It's going to have to take the whole team in order for Sooners to be able to get back in this game.
2-0 the count. So DBU an 8-run lead, but we'll see how long the leash is for Kroll. Walk in the air toward left center field, but pretty easily playable for Nathan Humphries. Inning over, but Oklahoma's on the board. It's a run on 2 hits and a 9-1 lead for Dallas Baptist headed to the 8th. In SEC play last week, and they're in action tonight like all of the other SEC teams. Friday and then Saturday and Sunday. We'll have the call for you here on SEC Network Plus for the Saturday and Sunday games, and SEC Network has it on the opener on Friday night. Bedlam. So good to see Bedlam at least being a part of things, though the Sooners and Cowboys are no longer members of the same conference, Kendall.
Yeah, it's always was one of my favorite games to play. Obviously, I loved Bedlam. I loved playing against Oklahoma State. You know, there obviously is some tension between the little brother and the big brother, but it's just things where, and I won't say which is which, but it's just one of those things where it's always a fun time, and those guys are good.
As a transplant, not from Oklahoma or Texas, I feel like there are a lot of Texas players that probably understand that, but you coming from Chicago into some of the rivalries, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Texas, what was that like?
Yeah, I was going to say, coming into Oklahoma, I didn't know the significance of it. But one thing I will tell you is you do get to understand that really quickly. As you're here, you understand the hatred for each other, the passion in both rivalries, and it's one of those things where you don't want to be on the losing side of it, and so it's one of those where you do play harder and you understand the significance of it as you continue to be a Sooner or a Longhorn or a Cowboy.
2-2 for Poole is a little bit downstairs. Jackson Kircher back out there for the Sooners for the 8th inning. He worked a 1-2-3 7th. Yeah, a couple of strikeouts.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Chad, he looks really good. He's just been up there throwing a lot of fastballs, saying hit me, and so I think as a freshman and as a young guy and a young arm, especially being down 9-1, why not?
There is ball 4 though to Tom Poole, the leadoff man here in the 8th inning. So Poole tonight has been on base 3 times. A single, a double, and this walk. And that'll get Grant J to the plate. Grant J doubled in the 3rd, homered in the 4th. His 55th career home run.
It's a lot of home runs.
Grant J he's a tank. I mean, he is not super tall, about 5'11", 6 foot, but he's about as powerful as any guy you're going to see at this level. Yeah, and probably the next level.
Oh yeah, he's got some strength to him. Just looking at his batting stance and the way his presence is up there, you can tell that he's pretty strong and he could put a hurt on a baseball.
In addition to the double and the homer, he's flied out a couple of times tonight. Just missed a couple of pitches.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't seem like he wants to hit the ball on the ground.
Big hack at that one, a 94-mile-an-hour fastball that was up.
And that fastball up in the zone is one of the hardest balls to hit, you know. Jackson has done a really good job of keeping that fastball up in the zone.
Got him swinging. So that's the 3rd strikeout for Jackson Kircher since he came in the 7th inning.
And just another fastball up in the zone right there by Jackson. Just doing a really good job of controlling the upper part of the zone, causing Jay to go up there and chase and get a swing and a miss. Big time swing and a miss for the Sooners.
So here is Nathan Humphries. 3 hits tonight. He's been on base all 4 times that he's come to the plate. Couldn't hold up. 0-1.
And that just goes to show that Jackson's fastball must be pretty good, because you, as a hitter, you know pretty much a fastball is coming about 90–95% of the time. And it still seems like he's getting some bad swings on him. And so that just shows that, you know, a lot of those guys aren't really seeing his fastball that well.
And against veteran players at this level as well.
Exactly.
Humphries 2-run double in the 3rd and an RBI single in the 6th. One misses just away.
And those balls look like they're just missing, and so really good take right there by Humphries.
So we told you about it runs in the family with Nathan Humphries, his brother Zach, TCU, and in the Angels organization. Alec at Texas Tech, Tarleton State. This one hit well, but well foul into the Patriots bullpen. And then Mike, dad, New York Yankees, 1991–93.
Talk about a baseball bloodline.
He's one of 5 Patriots with a multi-hit game going, but he strikes out here against Kircher, and that's back-to-back strikeouts and 4 total for this young Sooner right-hander.
Yeah, and this has been just very impressive right here by Jackson, as he's just mowing down a lot of guys with that fastball up in his zone. And you can kind of tell that the fans are appreciating it as well, as they seem to be getting into the game a little bit more with every strikeout.
So 2 down with Poole at first, and here's Kraus. Pops it up foul. And 0-1. Jayton Kraus, the 2-run home run in the 3rd. He's 1 for 3. He's also walked.
I think the DBU players just have to do a better job of laying off that hot fastball. It seems like they've been getting a lot of swing and misses and a lot of chases at that hot fastball by Jackson Kircher. So I think if DBU can do a better job of laying off that hot fastball, they may get a few more balls in the zone to hit.
1-2 now on Jayton Kraus.
I also think it's just one of those things where, you know, they kind of are figuring a fastball is coming, so they're just up there swinging, trying to get on top of it.
Wouldn't you be too?
Yeah, probably.
Kraus fouls another one out of play. That is a long foul ball. Oh, yeah. That thing landed in the Lloyd Noble Center parking lot across the street. It's a big, powerful right-handed hitter. Yeah. 6'3", about 230 pounds.
Yeah, this is power versus power right here.
It is. In the air to center field. Plenty of time for Walk to come in and grab it, and the inning is over. So a good stint on the mound for Jackson Kircher. He's retired 6 of the 7 batters he's faced. 9-1 DBU headed to the bottom of the 8th. To utilize him at 6 foot 192, 4 1/3 innings and 6 strikeouts and 3 walks. Oklahoma able to push across run number 1. They got a couple of hits in the 7th inning. The RBI single by Dawson Willis. And Trey Gamble will lead things off for the Sooners here in the 8th. Gamble 0 for 3, but as you said, Kendall, he's hit a couple of balls hard. He's hit 2 fly balls to the center fielder, Humphreys.
Yeah, he's definitely been putting barrel to the ball, just kind of getting under him a little bit. And so just want to see him be able to get on top of a ball right here and start up a rally.
In the air, right center field, but he got under it. And it kind of gently drifts over to the right fielder, Joey Narrett, for the first out.
Yeah, just one of those swings right there where he did put a good swing on it, but unfortunately he was under it. And so good first out right there by Sweeney.
So 0 for 4, Trey Gamble tonight. Easton Carmichael will get a shot. He had a base hit back in the 6th inning. 1 for 3 on the night.
I've always loved a good position player, two-way guy.
Valuable guys.
Oh, yeah.
You know, roster spots can be kind of limited. And if you can get one that can do both. You think Oklahoma a few years ago had Sheldon Noisy, who was one that played shortstop and could close for you.
I didn't know that. I didn't know Noisy was the closer as well.
Yeah, he had a year or two where he was a closer.
Yeah.
Went on to play in the big leagues with the A's.
I guess you could throw Cade Horton in that topic as well. No,
yeah.
He played a little bit of third during that 2022 year.
So interesting that you bring up Cade Horton, who's in the Chicago Cubs organization. Now he's the top pitching prospect in the Cubs organization.
Yeah.
And as Carmichael strikes out for the second out, I think Cade Horton's got a shot to get called up to the big leagues, but the Cubs are loaded with starting pitching. They got 6 starters, and so that's kind of got him backed up a little bit. But you're right about Cade Horton. Of course, he was injured. Skip Johnson at the time told us he thought when he got hurt his freshman year, Cade Horton, he said, I think he's the best freshman player I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, he was that good.
Yeah, no, me and Cade are still really close friends to this day, and he's just one of those guys who really wanted to get to the next level.
Yeah.
And he would do anything to get to the next level. Like, I remember he would be getting me and another one of our teammates up at 4, 5, 6 in the morning, going to the field to go hit and go work out. And like, he was still trying to hit at this point. And like, he's like, yeah, let's go to the cages. Let's go hit. Let's go do this. And I'm like, dude. And it's just like one of those guys where you love him no matter what. He's a great guy. He's a just super nice, very talented guy. Just somebody who's just all around a really special guy.
And as you said, driven. 2-1 pitch, hard hit ground ball is a seeing eye base hit for Jackson Willits. So that's his first hit of the night.
Good swing right there by Jackson. That ball looked like it was blown away, and he was able to drive that ball to the opposite field. So really good swing right there, staying on the ball.
Sam Christensen now, he's got an 0 for 3 night going. Oklahoma now 6 hits, 5 of them have been singles and a triple by Kyle Branch. Probably what's gotten lost in the shuffle is how good the 5 different pitchers for DBU have been tonight.
Oh yeah, they've been really good.
0-1 pitch is a strike to Sam Christensen.
I think they've just been doing a really good job of throwing a lot of strikes. You haven't seen many walk batters. You haven't seen many long or 3-0, 3-1 counts, and they've just done a really good job of getting ahead of the Sooners batters.
Only 2 walks issued by DBU pitching tonight. Oklahoma pitchers have issued 3.
What's funny to me, though, is you said that they have brought out 5 pitchers today. I mean, LSU brought out 5 pitchers in the whole weekend.
Yeah. It helps when you get 135 pitches in a complete game from your Friday, or in that case, it was a Thursday night game.
And I would have 135 pitches. I mean, my arm would have fallen off, you know.
It will earn you Pitcher of the Week honors, as it did Cade Anderson in the SEC co-pitcher of the week honors. 2-2 pitch here is low and away to Christensen. Kyle Branch has a 2-hit night, and he is on deck. And ball 4. That was a tough take there for Christensen.
Yeah, really close take right there by Sam, but he does a really good job. He walks. The kid walks a lot. He has 34, now 35 walks on the season. That has to be, I would think, in the top 5 in SEC play. And
it's #1.
Number 1 right there. How about that?
So he is 10th nationally with those walks.
Yeah, I mean, being top 10 nationally in walks, that's very impressive. So he has a good eye. So if he thinks it's a ball, it's probably going to be a ball.
And now Kyle Branch tripled in the 2nd and then singled and scored the Sooners' lone run in the 7th inning. He scored on the RBI hit by Dawson Willis. And Swinney calmly delivers a strike to him.
And Swinney's been doing a good job, you know, for somebody who's for a two-way. He has done a really good job of throwing some strikes. The Sooners have just been putting some good ABs up.
And 0-2 now on Branch.
He doesn't look too big out there either. I can't really tell from where we are, but I just saw a 93 up there, and that's pretty impressive.
You don't have to be big to throw hard, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Went up after that one, chops it to the shortstop, Graybeck, and the throw to Grady is in time. Inning over. Oklahoma with a hit and a walk and 2 left as we move to the 9th. The Patriots lead at 9-1. Cheers for DBU. The Sooners are now turning to their 6th arm of the night. And it is the lefty Bo Sampson, sophomore out of St. George, Utah. Scheduled to face Keaton Grady, Joey Narrett, and Michael DeTalo. We'll see if we have any pinch hitters utilized by Dan Hefner and the Patriots here in this top of the 9th inning. Six innings of work, all out of the bullpen for Bo Sampson. Keaton Grady has 2 hits tonight, 2 for 4. Lashes this one toward right center field, and Jason Walk will have to play it on a couple of bounces out there. That is 3 hits tonight for Keaton Grady.
And I think that might be his 2nd one off the first pitch. No. Just getting up there, being ready to hit.
Looks like we will have a pinch hitter for the Patriots now. It'll be Dylan Schlegel, a redshirt freshman out of Mansfield, Texas. He will bat for Joey Narrett in the 6th spot. And a strike from Sampson. Joey Narrett had been 0 for 4. And Schlegel bats for him here.
Yeah, he might have been the only DBU player not really seeing the ball that well today.
Graybeck also without a hit. He is in the 8th spot in the lineup. That is hit hard but foul toward the Oklahoma bullpen by Dylan Schlegel. You see the Sooner bullpen. Cam Johnson warming. O2 is a little too tall.
Bo Sampson's doing a good job so far throwing some strikes here. I saw his numbers had him at 8 walks and through 7 appearances, and so he's been doing good, keeping the ball in the strike zone.
To right field, Christensen backing up to play it for the first out. Bo Sampson got an appearance in the LSU series over the weekend. Just a little more and more work from him. Such a young pitching staff for Oklahoma. You talk about Kyson and Malachi Witherspoon. Now they've been around a little bit, and Cade Crossland as well, who's the third weekend starter for the Sooners. He's a junior. But so many young arms that are coming out of the bullpen we've seen tonight.
Yeah, they have some really good young talent in that bullpen, and I'm glad to see a lot of them are getting the opportunity to throw today. And that just goes to show that Skip does have some fire in that bullpen, because these are just players who they just got this year, and they're just doing a really good job of being able to go up there and throw some heat.
Now, 3 freshmen who have come out of the pen tonight. We saw Catalano and Barfield, Jackson Kircher, DeTalo has 2 hits in this game. He drove in a run. Takes a strike here to make it 3-1. DeTalo's RBI was the 8th run of the night, and that was after he plated a run with an RBI single in the 3rd. Sampson going to get himself comfortable. And there is ball 4. DeTalo on for the 4th time in this game. He's walked a couple of times in addition to the RBI singles that he has. And Keaton Grady into scoring position now. Cody Grayback, the shortstop.
Yeah, I mean, getting on 4 times in a game, that'll get your OBP up there pretty high. So it's a really good job.
Walk, trots over a few steps to grab out number 2. Grayback first pitch swinging.
This swing right there by Grayback just hit it to the wrong guy. Hit it to Jason Walk out there in center field, and definitely wasn't able to get it in the gap.
So 2 down, and the batter will be Adam Bergholt, the catcher. He homered back in the 4th inning. The 2 solo home runs by Jay and then Bergholt in that inning. Patriots in position to win their 4th straight in this rivalry and sweep the 2 games this year. And now Skip Johnson is out of the Sooner dugout. You're talking about that competitive pitches, as you were mentioning earlier. And when a refocus is needed, he will come out with a reminder.
Yeah, you know, just with Bo kind of getting out to that 2-0 ball to strike count right there. I think just Skip wanted to go out there and talk to him. You see, it was very brief, very quick. Just go out there and calm him down a little bit, get him back in the zone.
So many teaching moments available during a game, even an 8-run game.
Yeah, of course. And it's one of those things where, you know, as a head coach, Skip's never going to stop teaching and never going to stop coaching. That's why I think he's one of the greats, and he's one of my favorite coaches, just because he cares so much about players and about the team. And it doesn't matter if the score could be 20-1. Like, he's just going to always, if he sees something is wrong, he's going to let you know about it, and he's going to try to help you out, because that's just the type of person that he is.
That one snaps over the inside edge and squares the count at 2-2.
And it's funny how it's happened both times where, you know,
it works.
It works, I'm telling you.
The 2-2 for Bergholt. There is strike 3 call, same as the previous pitch. So Skip Johnson comes out for a brief visit with Bo Sampson, and he gets a strikeout to close things. Sooners down to their final 3 outs, trailing 9-1 as we head to the last of the ninth. Nice variety tonight. They've got 9 runs pushed across, and Ashton Branson will try to close it out here for DBU. Dayton Taki, Braden Horton, and Dawson Willis, the scheduled Sooner hitters in the bottom of 9.
Yeah, 50% of your hits being extra base hits. That's pretty impressive right here by that DBU team. And so they've just done a really good job of attacking the zone and swinging that good pitches.
Taki is 0 for 2 with a walk in this game. Ashton Branson transferred from Crowder College, went to the JUCO World Series there in 2024.
Now, I've heard that JUCO World Series is pretty fun up there in Colorado, so I know a few guys who have played in it, and so they've really enjoyed their time there.
There's strike 2. Full count now to Taki. The Patriots have shifted defensively on the infield.
I think this is just one of those times, too, as a batter where you know it's 9-1. You understand what the score is, but really you're just up there trying to have a good AB.
And it'll be a strikeout by Ashton Branson of Dayton Taki.
You know, it's already been a pretty bad day for the Oklahoma Sooners, and so you really just try to go up there and compete for your last AB. Try to, you know, salvage some type of good before going into that next game.
That is 9 strikeouts for DBU pitching tonight. Braden Horton had a base hit back in the 5th inning. The one bright side maybe for Oklahoma, pitching staff has struck out 14 hitters in this game. I know that caught me by surprise as well, but 14 strikeouts. Hensley had 4 and Kircher had 4. 14 strikeouts for Sooner pitching in this game and 5 walks.
14 strikeouts.
Does it seem that way?
It doesn't at all.
1-1 pitch, fouled back by Horton, continuing to have competitive at-bats. Perhaps earned himself a little more playing time.
Yeah, he's done a good job today. Definitely putting up competitive at-bats like you said, and just being able to, you know, get himself in some good counts, although he is in a 1-2 count right now, but definitely putting himself in a good position. 14 strikeouts though, huh? That's funny though. I mean, they have same amount of strikeouts that they do hits.
Feast or famine?
Really good take.
And 3-2. Dawson Willis, who has driven in Oklahoma's lone run, is in the on-deck circle. And there's ball 4.
Just another really good AB right there by Horton. Definitely not taking anything for granted, as he is someone who doesn't get to play as often as a lot of the other guys do. And so I think he's done just a really good job of, you know, showing why he just thinks he deserves to be playing a little bit more.
Yeah, these are things Reggie Willett and Skip Johnson are filing away. You know, games that are the run column is separated, let us just say. And do you continue to keep yourself plugged in?
Yeah, definitely one of those situations where do you feel like you just kind of have given up on your ABs just because of the score and you're just kind of all out of sorts and all out of whack, or are you still committed to your plan and still putting up competitive ABs? That's something that a lot of coaches take into account. So really good job right there by Brady.
Here's Willis, who drove in Kyle Branch for the only Sooner run so far back in the 7th inning. One and two now. Willis fights another one off. Patriots got 5 runs in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, and then single runs in the 5th and 6th. But it was Really, that big third inning, the home run by Krause that made it 4-0, was that separator, and it gets a pitching staff comfortable. There's a swing and a miss. High fastball there. Willis is out on strikes for the second time.
Yeah.
2 strikeouts in the inning.
And Chad, when you look at it, you're right. It really was that third inning that kind of got out of hand. If you look at all of the other innings, Oklahoma really hasn't done too bad of a job of keeping, you know, there's been some home runs here and there, but you go 2 and 1 and 1, and then the rest are zeros. You know, it's not really, it was really just that third inning and just the Sooners not being able to get any runs on the board.
Here is Jason Walk as the Sooners are down to their final out. Walk is 0 for 3 with a walk. Ashton Branson is the 6th pitcher utilized by DBU tonight. Two and 1 to Jason Walk.
There's still a few fans here, though. We got a couple fans staying.
Three balls and a strike now to Jason Walk. The Sooners rolling the lineup over. They have 1 run, but this is the 5th time through the lineup. Big hack there by Walk. He's trying to turn that one around. And a full count.
Yeah, really good swing right there by Jason. Just understanding that it is a 3-1 pitch and knowing that Ashton is probably going to come at him.
They reset the pitch clock there as Branson stepped off. And Walk shoots this one into center field. Nathan Humphries is there. And the DBU Patriots have won it 9-1. They sweep the season series from the Oklahoma Sooners, winning the earlier matchup March 4th, 11-0 down in Dallas. Patriots improved to 21-11 on the season, and the Sooners fall to 23-9. And it is 4 straight wins in the series between these teams by DBU, both of them this year. Patriots 3 home runs hit, one by Chayton Krause, one by Grant Jay, the 55th of his career.